Chair. Good morning, everybody. I will also try to keep the timing to the size of my country also. The Maldives, I think, is having a fantastic time in terms of establishing democracy. But today, I will be looking mainly onto the productive side and also the fiscal side of the whole exercise. Let us start from the GDP. If you look the GDP over a period of 10, 12 years, early stage of development has been extremely good, and investment has been coming until 1999, 2000, where there is some decline in terms of investment in productivity, primarily because of the low physical infrastructure developments. And also the aid flow has been reduced. Since then, 2003, 2004 years, we have growth in terms of productivity, tourist arrival, fisheries exports, more canneries have been done, so that value added has improved with time. 2004 Boxing Day was a terrible day for us. The tsunami hit, the Indian Ocean tsunami, and the result in 2005, everything went down, followed by again tremendous growth in terms of donors assistance, thanks to all of them, Red Cross, neighboring countries, everybody assisted, and then economy started blossoming very fast. So 2007, stabilization, 2000 growth, 2009, the world financial crisis. So everything that comes to the region, to the world, we are also not been insulated. Perhaps we are more vulnerable to these type of shocks, which is very important to understand it. And from 2007, the democratic movement has come, which I will come later. And then I think up to 2012, the GDP growth is been declining on a period of time, but I would not say that it is going to be going down, but it will stabilize at the 5 to 7% real GDP growth, which is, I think, reasonably well. Let me look at the fisheries sector. This is a quite interesting sector. We depend on tuna fisheries, and that is a type of tuna, skipjack and yellowfin tuna. I will show you how we do this harvest. This is just to explain. Sorry, I have to wait for some time. Yes. Now you will see this fisheries is also not recovering. The previous slide, the film clip shows the fisheries in Maldives one pole and line one by one. Not netting, which is prohibited in our law for 2000 years. What happens is, when we respect the environment and do harvesting by one, Indian Ocean has got a fleet called Indian Ocean Tuna Fisheries Fleet. These are huge ships of 5,000, 6,000 capacity with helicopter and very large nets. And they scoop everything Indian Ocean beyond our territorial waters. We have such a big territorial water, we have no way of protecting it. We have an arrangement with India to protect these waters, but how much we can do? So the question is, while we respect the laws, the modern Indian Ocean tuna fisheries, they scoop everything, we are left behind what is left for us. We still continue to go harvesting one by one, yet the politicians drag their feet, let us come on, let's do the other people others. No, sir, it is not the way. The fishermen protest, we like to be our own way. Perhaps technology is going backward rather than forward, and it is their thinking. So, yet the fisheries is improving now because value added has been come. We market the tuna product as a one by one pole and line sustainable product, which we get very good prices in the international market. But this has been polluted by exports of whole fish to tuna. Their brand caught in Maldives, packed in Thailand. This is the biggest world's packing factory in the world. So there is quite a big confusion. Caught in Maldives, packed in China. Thailand. So this is a very big confusion, I think value added is improving, yellowfin prices are getting on, but the important thing to understand is, in my paper I have written, catch per unit effort is increasing. That means the fish within the region still remains quite harvestable. If the unit catch per effort is declining, then we are in trouble. Ever since we have the mechanized fleet, the unit per catch is coming up. So that is a very good sign. That means the harvestable fish in the Indian Ocean territory, the Maldives, is still reasonably good for us until next 10 to 15 years. Let's come to tourism, sunny side of life. So this is one of the major foreign exchange earnings of about 40% of the GDP. Again, small video clip, perhaps taken some time. This is Maldives.
When there's sand between my toes, when there's wind in my hair, when I listen to the sea, I feel my happiest ever. The waves roll on, the sun is bright, life's lovely and everything's just right. The spirit goes flying, I feel my happiest ever. As the evening falls, we're back in our homes, with wines to sip and stories to tell. You beside me, the sunny side of life.
Little commercial, but nevertheless, that is our product. So tourism is also on upward trend. Value added is also improving, and perhaps it is one of the most highly valued per unit of destination resort, and we would like to maintain that. India is sending 30,000 tourists, per annum, which is not efficient because of the connections, but we are going to improve the connections very soon. Now let's come to the key subject of today, central government finance. We are living beyond our means, undoubtedly, because the expenditure is increasing many times than what we are getting in terms of revenue. Why? Because the political change has brought democratic process from the political parties. And one of the unusual situations is that government budget is financing some political parties. If I am correct, about 1.5% total budget is allocated to political parties by some percentages. Why should we do it? Either you survive or you lose. So we have more political parties than first league football teams, which we are very fond of. So I think this is one of the very strange situations where government funds the political parties. The key here is, again, a budget deficit is a nominal GDP. You will see from 2007 to 2013, when the budget deficit has been swinging downwards, as a percent of GDP. And there is no end to it, it is going to be worsened. The reason is the political promise and inefficiency of the resource allocation to the small islands, which are population of 250 to 500 people. Every island needs a court, school, health clinic, harbor, telecommunication, everything on the earth. The resource allocation and resource utilization is very inefficient. Unless we have a major consolidation program, central government budget is going to be under a lot of pressure. So how do we do it is the key. Either we do a consolidation program which you cannot move against their will, which is quite a serious problem, and we are living beyond my means because of the welfare state. Too much of welfare. Nobody in this region has got such a welfare. For instance, medical facility election promise, 100,000 rupees. The hospitals are growing rich, the clinics are growing rich. there is no way, there is no proper governance in controlling this type of medical expenditure. Midnight call, doctor comes, sign of very good, cut your finger, go to the hospital. So I think these type of issues are very, very big issue for us to manage. So governance has to be in place. Public management has to be in place. Public administration has to be in place. So all these institutions are not there when we put a 4-year democratic process. Now, what are the problems we have? Obviously, we are living on a mountain of debt. GDP is 60%. 60% of the debt, GDP is 60% debt, which is quite worrying, you know. But I think politicians, there is no end. They still say, yesterday also one political party is issued, if we are elected, every pregnant mother will get 5,000 rupees and the child will get 2,000 rupees. Where is the money? The next party says, if we are elected, we will give every school child a small packet of milk, 100 milliliter, and a banana. Now, goes on. 100 million to fisheries on subsidy. Why? They don't need it, you know. 100 million school books. We have never had a subsidy on education. Parents paid for it. Why should we pay? So we are reinventing the wheel in the wrong direction because there is no correct governance in public finance management and government management. Institutions are weak. As Mr. Fuad yesterday said, the parliament is more of an argument place for their welfare. And if they won't throw, they will throw the Auditor General because he has written a correct report. So this status is quite worrying for us. So looking at the SAARC, again, the sheer distances in which we live is very interesting to see. Afghanistan, 3,400 kilometers, 3,900 to Pakistan in Islamabad, Delhi, 2,700, Kathmandu, 2.9, Bhutan, 3.1, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka and India are the biggest neighbors where there is a lot of connectivity. And people-to-people connectivity, trade is also moving. So the SAARC region, but what do we expect from them? Yeah. So I would think that SAARC, we can help in organizing infrastructure. Slide is missing. I think one slide is gone. Increase in infrastructure, institutional support. Agriculture. It is growing very fast in GDP. We need help. India has got a lot of experience in this area. Field officers can be brought to India and show the agriculture. As you know, who is doing this farming in our country? Bangladeshis. We have 50,000 Bangladeshis in our country, and our fishermen don't know how to grow vegetables or fruits, you know. So thanks to Bangladeshis for coming and growing these vegetables, fruits, which is doing very well, you know. But we need a lot of input, guidance, post-harvest issues, transportation, you know, and reaching the market. So this is something I think SAARC can help. And training of public institutions like public administration. In our country, the permanent secretary is appointed for a 5-year term. He doesn't come through the mill. So after 5 years' time, he's thrown out, you know, thank you very much, we don't need you, you know. So governance and public administration is in very bad shape, you know. So in all the countries, secretaries of ministries are the people who lead and function to help the government. And cooperatives can be developed in supporting women, and it is already starting. But we need to understand, bring these leaders, women leaders, to India, Sri Lanka, where it is working very well, even for Bangladesh. So I think these are things we would expect from SAARC. And I must say how delighted I am to be here, and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.